welcome back to Gin Fun at winemastery.co.uk. My name's John Lightfoot and this is
Eddy Lascelles from the Harewood Food and Drink Project.
So I'm in this wonderful setting in North Yorkshire. I can see the beautiful setting behind us. This is where all of the botanicals are created for this wonderful gin. How long has this gin been on the market, Eddy?
So we first launched this about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Just over 2 years ago.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I wonder before we sort of get into the actual gin, Harewood. A lot of our viewers will know about Harewood, but I wonder if you could give us a history of what Harewood's about.
Sure. Yeah. So probably what's best known about Harewood is Harewood House, which is one of the treasure houses of England. It's a big stately home with landscape that was designed by Capability Brown and an interior that's got antiques and paintings by a lot of very famous and well-known craftspeople and artists.
Okay.
The estate itself is about 4,000 acres of land that surrounds the house.
Wow.
And
it's a lot of mowing.
It's a lot of hedges, a lot of mowing, yeah. So yeah, and it's just between Leeds and Harrogate. It's kind of slap bang in the middle, so It's a great location. It's a beautiful part of the country.
So presumably, if it's such a grand house, was it owned originally by a duke or?
Yeah. Well, so historically it's been the home of the Lascelles family and the Earl of Harewood.
Okay, fantastic. And that's so. How old is the house?
So the house was completed in 1772.
1770. Wow. Okay.
So, but there was another house here before that, which was called Gawthorpe Hall.
Okay.
And whilst they were building Harewood House, they lived in Gawthorpe Hall. And when Harewood House was finished, they knocked down the other one.
Did they?
And moved into the big house. So.
Wow. So their version of a portable caravan while they were having the other house built.
A bit like that.
A bit like that. Okay. So in here you have basically a project with regards to food, and which is where the gin came from, food and drink.
Yeah.
Perhaps you could just tell us a little bit of the background of that.
Yeah. There's obviously a heritage here at Harewood of food and drink production that goes back hundreds of years, even predating Harewood House. There's a historic walled garden, which was built in 1750, so that predates Harewood House.
Wow.
It's been in continuous use ever since, and there's a variety of heritage varieties of fruit and vegetables and herbs and spices that are grown there.
Okay.
Everything's hand-picked, everything's hand-tended to, so there's no pesticides used, or it's all really good stuff. In addition to that, as I say, we've got 4,000 acres of land here, which is, so in terms of wild forage foods, there's an absolute abundance of all sorts that exist on the estate. Then there's also a range of livestock here as well. There's the deer park, which we've got red deer, fallow deer, we've got a herd of honey cows, we've got a flock of Hebridean black sheep. So there's all this kind of diversity and quality of produce here, but it's not been something that's ever been shouted about as much as it probably should be, in my opinion. So we set up the Harewood Food and Drink Project a couple of years ago to kind of tell that story a little bit and to do it in a way that's fun and sort of relevant to the contemporary consumer. Okay. So the gin's a component of that wider project.
Okay. So in terms of so the sort of foods that you're producing, just give us a sort of the breadth of scale. So the sort of foods you're producing and the sort of drinks you're producing.
So drinks. So obviously we've got the gin, which is a kind of traditional London dry gin style of gin. Then we had a range of beers that we made. So we had a seasonal range of beers, spring, summer, autumn and winter, all made using produce that's grown and foraged on the estate. We're just trialling at the moment some new honey, made using a couple of hives that we have here. Yeah. And then with the meats that we have on the estate, we've made a range of kind of venison pies and venison jerky, and we're experimenting curing some of those as well. And then in addition to that, we also do a range of events, so kind of pop-up dining events here. Okay. And again, that's all designed with a menu designed by our chef, a chap called Josh Whitehead, who builds a kind of seasonal menu based upon what's available and what's coming out of the estate and what's at its absolute best at that particular moment in time. Fantastic. So it's all about seasonal eating. Yeah. But with a kind of, with the provenance of what goes onto the menu. goes into the products is the consistent thing through everything that we do.
Okay, and so the gin, obviously, the botanicals come from around the walled garden, I guess.
Yeah, well, so there's actually there's 8 botanicals in here, and 4 of them come from the estate.
Okay.
3 of those come from our walled garden, which is mulberries from the tree, which is just next to us here, and thyme and angelica root.
Okay.
And then elderberries that we forage for in the estate as well.
Okay, wow. And so yeah, and in terms of the, how did you get to the taste? I mean, how, you know, you've brought out a new gin. How do you determine how much of what? How do you get to that?
Endless tasting, sampling. It was tough work.
Tough work, I can imagine. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we work in collaboration with local producers. So with the gin, we work with Whittaker's Gin, who are based just up in Dacre Banks, just north of Harrogate.
Okay.
And Toby Whittaker, who's the head distiller there, is obviously an absolute, you know, he's of international repute in terms of his reputation. And we kind of let him lead on that, really. Yeah. He'd design a recipe, we try it and think, oh, that's nice. And then he'd sort of tweak it and try it again and think, oh, that's nice.
Even better.
Yeah. So this particular recipe was it was actually the 20-second recipe that he designed, each time with just sort of minor tweaks to enhance certain flavour profiles or to finish off at the final piece.
Fantastic. And so in terms of a lot of people sort of selling gin of their own gin, I found 2 camps. One camp that says you should just drink it neat and have it, or if you do add tonic, just add a tonic with the least possible taste to it. Yeah. And others say, well, no, actually, you know, you add the tonic because depending on what flavour you want to bring out in it. So where do you sit in that?
Yeah. I mean, you know, personally, I think if you're going to buy a quality gin, you want the gin to be the star of the show. Sure. So I'd probably fall into the first camp. Yeah. In that I'd recommend going for as light a tonic as you possibly can. Yeah. Because a lot of tonics, in my opinion, can overpower the flavour of the gin. Yeah. And I think that, you know, in a gin and tonic, I want to be able to taste my gin. Sure. So a lot of bars and restaurants will work in quarters. They'll do like a quarter gin, 3/4 tonic. I'm definitely more of a third kind of a guy. Right. John and I are normally 50. But you know, it's a really good gin, and I think that, you know, you want that to be the star of the show. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely a light tonic kind of a guy. Fantastic, fantastic. So in terms of the availability of the product, if people are interested, because obviously its provenance is obvious from what you've just been saying. Yeah. In terms of getting hold of it, how would, if someone wanted to try this, how would they get hold of it? So I mean, we make it so it's very small batch produced. It's as micro distilling could really get. Okay. And yeah, so you're not going to get it in your local mainstream retailers. We tend to sell it to small independent retailers and bars and restaurants, and that tends to be around the local area to here, so Leeds and Harrogate, Ilkley, Otley, York, Skipton, Sheffield, so within the Yorkshire really. Okay. You can buy it directly through our website, that's harewoodfoodandrink.com. Okay, I'll put a link down the bottom here. Great. And yeah, that's it really. We sell to Booth Supermarket, but just across the Yorkshire stores, so Ripon, Ilkley and Settle. Right. And in terms of bars and restaurants, again, it's, you know, we sell with a house gin at a number of fine dining restaurants around the region as well. So yeah, places like the Box Tree and Home Restaurant. Okay, yeah, I'm sure they will be. Yeah, surely if they're foodie, they've heard of those names for sure. I noticed on the front of the bottle there's a sort of like quite distinctive logo, if that's what you called it. Where did that come from? Yeah. Well, I think it's something that we try and tell throughout all of the products that we make. It's about the provenance of what goes in the bottle, but also the provenance of what's on the bottle. We wanted to tell a bit of a story about Harewood that perhaps people might not be familiar with. Yeah. So probably about half a mile behind us over this way, there's an ancient stone sat overlooking the landscape here. Yeah. And the stone is called the Greystone. Okay. And the name of our gin is also the Greystone. On that stone there's an ancient symbol that's carved into the rock. Okay. Which is maybe 4,000 years or 5,000 years old, nobody really knows, but that's the symbol that you'll find on the front of our bottle here. Okay, brilliant. So it's what's called a cup and ring mark. which isn't unique to here. There's a couple of hundred of them around the county.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's not something that people will necessarily know about Harewood.
No.
So it was just a part of developing that narrative and story behind.
Yeah.
the estate.
It's from the history of the estate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So in terms of taking this forward, you've got that gin. I know you've got beer. You're introducing honey. And I guess the difficulty for you is that you've probably got so many ideas about what you could produce.
Yeah.
That it's probably, but you have to be very focused, I assume, on where you're going and what's what.
Yeah.
So is there, and there's nothing wrong with you having a classy gin stands on its own right. But have you any plans to introduce any other?
Yeah, I think we're always looking for new things to do.
Yeah.
I think that I feel very fortunate to work with such a, the guys at Whiskers are so fantastic at what they do. Yeah. And we need to make sure that the standards that we set are consistent throughout everything that we do. So I think that I only want to develop products that are world class, that can really, that are the right kind of quality. Yeah. Which immediately narrows that down quite significantly. Yeah. But as I say, we're always experimenting. We're always interested in speaking to people about collaboration opportunities and as long as it fits
the ethos is the same.
Yeah, the quality control standards that we have in place.
Obviously, you've got a sort of bar that you don't want to drop below. Yeah, absolutely, fantastic. Well, it's really been great talking to you. Thanks very much. Thanks very much indeed. And please, I'll put the links to the website down below. And I see you also, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook. And
Facebook. We're all across all social media. HarewoodFoodandDrink.com. Across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
So presumably people can go there and find out more about the rest of the products and what you're all about if they have that interest.
Exactly. And you'll find more about upcoming events that we have. So a number of the dining events, which have proven to be extremely popular. We've got some great feedback and coverage on those. So
fantastic. And how many of the dining events? How many are they?
Well, we tend to do it seasonally. Mm-hmm. So at least 4 a year. But we also do a number of kind of private parties and weddings and corporate events as well. Yeah, of course. As well as we own a cafe in the village here, so we do a number of kind of evening openings there as well, which are always quite good fun. So fantastic. Well, thank you very, very much indeed, Eddie, for taking the time to share with me and the viewers this wonderful gin. And it's a pleasure.
We'll look forward to, and I'm sure you will be, looking forward to tasting it. Gin.
Gin.
Bye.